Get the podcast going here. All righty. Looks like we got everybody on the. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sports Scope. I'm your host, Robert Butler. I'm going to talk about this rift with Luka Doncic and this professional gambler that's hired as an executive by the Dallas Mavericks. Now, this guy has been there for 3 years. This is not the report in Athletic. We'll talk about that a little bit later. The story came out yesterday. Also, Aaron Rodgers wearing a shirt saying offended or something like that. Mark Murphy's comments. And then something else came out today that nobody else caught, but I did because I'm the best. Derek Carr. Derek Carr says that I'll retire before I leave the Raiders. So that's a shot saying, if one of you guys trade for me, I could potentially walk away. Remember, he signed a big contract a few years ago, so he's got 70, 80, 90, $100 million, close to $100 million in the bank from the Raiders along, everybody. So he's doing pretty well. So there's a lot, and there's NFL holdouts, big-time corners. Jamal Adams is supposed to be a holdout until he gets an extension. I'll do a buy, sell, or hold there. But first, let's talk about the game, okay? I know that we're coming back from I know that we will be coming back to the game here in just a little bit. I'll tell you my thoughts on this Brooklyn game first before I get into everything. I was surprised that Harden even came back. What I will say this. If you are a Brooklyn Nets fan, now I picked the Nets to win this, but that was before Irvin went down. But if you're a Net fan, you look at second game back for Jeff Green. He's hit a couple of big threes in this game. And Harden hasn't played in 2 weeks, folks. I don't even count that Saturday before this playoff started. So Harden hasn't even played in 2 weeks. I think they could come back, even will they down 16 or whatever. I think they can come back and win this game. And if they lose this game, I could see them coming back and winning 2 straight, but knocking off the rust. Harden's moving pretty well. It looks like that hamstring's not really bothering him. No points, but very sloppy. But he's moving well. Got a lot of minutes, 16 minutes in the first half. So that's going to be an interesting series going forward. But, you know, I was looking at these playoffs in a whole. And if you're talking about a year for parity, now every championship, everybody, counts. I don't care, even though if you win in the bubble or if you win a year where you got injuries. Remember LeBron, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Love got hurt one year, and LeBron went all the way to 6 games with the Golden State Warriors one year. Durant got hurt a few years ago. The Toronto Raptors won. But guess what? That banner still stands there, folks. So it still stands there. And I was looking, since the ABA-NBA merger, August 5th, 1976, that's the year my dad's birthday. He would have been 20 years old. Only one of these teams remaining in the playoffs have won a championship, and that was Philadelphia, with the Julius Erving, Moses Malone in 1983 won. The Phoenix Suns haven't won. They're sitting at home. Chris Paul's getting better. Look prime to knock out either one. A lot of people are leaning on the Clippers, but you got to look at the Clippers, folks. The Clippers this would be their second 0-2 deficit they've had to come out of. They went 7 games. I can see this one possibly going 7. Yeah, the Clippers could win now because Mitchell's banged up. It looks like Conley's not going to come back. But do you expect them to come out of those kind of deficits, mental and physical fatigue? I think that it's setting up good for Phoenix to get back to the finals. You look at the injury of a Joel Embiid. He's really pushing hard. Harden's not 100%, playing much better than I thought he would. He's moving much better than I thought he would. I mentioned Mike Conley's injury, Donovan Mitchell's injury. The Hawks still have a chance. They've never won anything since the ABA-NBA merger. So this is a good year, even though it's a little frustrating watching these you like to see that the teams be full forced and properly assembled, evenly matched, so we get a better game out of it, get a equal series. But hey, just like the NFL, it's just part of the sport right now. And this year has been the worst for the league as a whole. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the convergence of games, pushing games up in the condensed season. Maybe that is the short layoff. Maybe it's a little bit of everything. But it is what it is. But I'll say this. It'll be good for one organization. Utah, which now looks like a long shot. But Phoenix, clear good shot there. Milwaukee looked dead to right. A week ago, they were 0-2. Atlanta, I expected Atlanta 4 or 5 game loss to the Knicks. So they're playing really well as well. So this is, and it's good for the league. It's good for the league as a whole to see somebody different get a championship. And again, other than even if it's the Philadelphia 76ers, 1983. Geez, I'll be 40 next month. 38 years, that's a long time for any of the teams left over. Okay. So speaking of basketball, big story out in the Athletic, folks. And this story is about friction between this guy who is a former professional gambler. Okay. His name is Vargas. Let me make sure I get this guy's name right, because it's a mouthful. Hilarhe Boas Vargaris. I'll just call him Vargaris for short. That's his last name, Mr. Vargaris. 45-year-old former professional high-stakes gambler is had a little bit of a run-in with Luka Doncic, who is up for a Supermax next summer. So this is a big deal. And this guy, you guys won't believe this, but he's not only in charge of drafting, he is in charge of situational things. Remember, I already said I thought that Carlisle has been there too long, the head coach there. He's been there past that 10-year rule. Maybe they need to make a change. But this guy is involved in, here it is, Vargas has been the most influential. This is from the Tim Cato, co-author of this story. Of course, it's, sources that are not cited. Tim Cato from The Athletic says Bob, the guy's not his name, no, but Mr. Vargas has been the most influential voice in the Mavs front office since being hired back in 2018. Initiating transaction, dictating rotations, even frustrating Luka. There are internal fears of how it could affect Luka's future. And it goes on to say that they had issues. There was some criticisms around the league from what the Mavericks did in this past year's draft. But this guy being a former professional gambler, and he's involved in substitutions. So if I'm the NBA, now I'm not accusing anything, but when you're running a $1 billion organization like the NBA, and you got a former professional gambler making substitutions for a team he's working for. That, if I'm within, and again, I'm not accusing anybody, I'm just going by what I'm reading here. If you have make sure my comments here. If you have a former gambler, professional high stakes gambler making that, if I'm Adam Silver, I'm having the NBA security team look into that. Again, could be nothing. But when a story like that comes out, people's more interested in the Dallas Mavericks potentially losing Luka next year, emerging superstar over this guy, this hire. This got the ears of analytics guy. You know, Mark Cuban's a tech guy. But I'm more concerned, if I'm a league official, about how many substitutions has he done, and I'm checking on some of the wagers for some of those games. That's the bigger, and of course, this ticked off Mark Cuban to the high heavens, and he tweeted out total BS, except he wrote the word out. Now, I tried to find this on my Twitter. There's a little side note about me. I tried to find this on the Twitter timeline with Mark Cuban, and I find out that the guy blocked me. Had some issues with Cuban before, trying to jump in that political arena and acting like he's got this country's best interest and he's got some global, more of a globalist kind of guy. I said something I don't remember what it was, but he blocked me on Twitter. Cuban did. So I've got Mark Cuban's attention. I had to go back on my other account, my SportsScope account, and find it. But he says it's total BS. But you know, this guy is micromanaging Rick Carlisle, a 45-year-old guy. It's probably not even been in basketball that 3 years, and you are micromanaging Rick Carlisle and his rotations, and he's already won an NBA championship in 2011. He's been with this organization since 2008. This is a big story potentially. You know, there's an old adage, when there's smoke, there's fire, Pickles. And there's probably, with this Mark Cuban, or not Mark Cuban, Dallas Maverick, there's probably some fire there. My thing is, this is a former professional gambler that Cuban has hired. He's an analytics guy, and he doesn't get along with their scouts. He doesn't get along with the Luka Doncic, which is the golden goose, the 22-year-old rising superstar. He's micromanaging Rick Carlisle with substitutions, and then he also is dipping into the scouting and the drafting. Cuban's talking like it's total BS and crap. Behind the scenes, Cuban's probably really looking into all this stuff because they have a rare opportunity. They have a rare talent with the Luka Doncic. They need to go after another player. If it was me, I would probably move off this guy, definitely. And I would move off of, if what this said is even remotely true, I would definitely try to go out and get me another coach and get me an aggressive general manager who's going to go out and get me another player to complement a Luka. Maybe perhaps a Damian Lillard. Somebody like that of that nature. But I think this is an interesting story. Like I said, the big take about it really for me personally is Mark Cuban blocking me on Twitter. Now, I'll say this, but again, not to sound like a broken record, if I'm the NBA, my security team, red flags go up. A professional gambler in charge with substituting, that could be some point shaving stuff going on there. May not be, but it's better to be safe than sorry, right, Pickles? I mean, something like that. I mean, this was a big high stakes gambler. And this guy's involved when in your rotation. I mean, it's something to look into. May not be nothing. But I'll tell you what, it's something, Also, the NBA, there was more news that they're looking into changing the possibility of the rule change for offensive players jumping into defensive players. And I thought to myself, basically what it is, for those of you to watch the league for a while, like I have over 30 years, Kobe, I think Pickles is the first guy to try this. Is he will take the ball, jump in the air, and jump towards a defender. The defender would have his feet planted, and Kobe, and he's the first guy I saw do this. Initiate the contact, and then you get called for the foul as an offender. Well, they're just now wanting to legislate that out of the league. Now, that should have been legislated in air quotes out of the league 20-something years ago, because Kobe was the first guy I seen, God rest the guy's soul, but he was the first guy I seen doing that. Now, Harden's perfected it. And then you got all kinds of players doing that shot. So they're trying to legislate that out of the league. I thought that was interesting. Before I get into the NFL, I wanted to knock that out. Now, okay, a couple things here. Mark Murphy, the president of the Green Bay Packers. For a side note, this guy, you could tell he's very conservative with his money, for one thing. Mark Murphy, the president of the Packers, every time I see this guy, he looks like a used car salesman that is having a bad year. The cheapest Green Bay tie you can possibly get. He does not look like a president of an organization. He looks like a down-on-your-luck used car salesman. That's just my opinion of Mark Murphy. Now, he's saying that Rodgers is complicated. Rodgers came back and doing an interview for some kind of golf tournament. He had a black shirt on that says offended. So that was his response for that. But here's more to this story. A lot of talk has been about the Raiders. The Raiders being a big potential trade partner for Aaron Rodgers. Today, Derek Carr said that I may retire if I get traded from the Raiders. So that was a shot. Now, he made it look. This is what he said. This is what Carr said. I probably would quit football if I had to play anywhere else. Now, everybody else poo-pooed that. Derek Carr saying, I hear you talking about me. I'm breaking my back for this team that don't have a defense at all. You know, we're making line shifts. We're moving players in and out every single year. And that's a shot at management there. And that's a warning shot to Green Bay. Don't trade for me. Don't put me involved in your trade. If it's a part of a 3-team trade, I can quit football. Now, he hasn't made the kind of money of an Aaron Rodgers, but he has made, I'd say, 80 to 90. He just signed a big deal about 3 or 4 years ago, $100 million plus. Take home, I know he's made at least 80. I would imagine he's probably saved that money. And he just saying he wouldn't want to play elsewhere. That was a warning shot at Green Bay. And so Rodgers and this Mark Murphy guy are going back and forth. And I'm guarantee you that the organization of Green Bay, they're probably saying, oh, man, well, that's one taker that we probably can't do any business with. This guy's threatening to quit. So if you're Denver, like I said the other day, Deshaun Watson likes Denver. Denver's been mentioned. If I'm Rodgers at this point, I mean, if you're going to do something like this and cause all this rift, I wouldn't go back. I mean, I would just, you got to think it all. You got to have the stomach to withstand the whole season. Again, I checked this the other day, Pickles. Le'Veon Bell, I thought Le'Veon Bell came back in the middle of that season. He sat out the whole season. And you got to be willing to stomach the whole season. But this is what he did say today, Rodgers. Rodgers said that, I kind of enjoy not having to be somewhere when somebody's telling me to be somewhere. I enjoy not having my time structured out while I'm off doing my thing right now. And I thought to myself, man, this dude, this tells me that he's ready to go the long way. He's ready to sit this thing out. Now, if he comes back, I'll lose some respect for him. Because if you're gonna go all in like this, you're gonna call them out just before the draft. And of course, I understand this beef. We talked about it with the drafting up, but also they have publicly criticized Rodgers. Mark Murphy says, don't make it hard on this guy, talking about when he hired McClure, and now they're saying he's complicated. He got a big ego, but he's 38. And again, I appreciate it, Lil Pickles. He's 38 years old, going to make $38 million. Not every story is going to have a storybook ending like a Tom Brady. I've talked to you guys about this before. Eli Manning retired. Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers, all of these guys, 38, 39 years old, have all retired. So, I would try. And plus, you don't want this hovering over Green Bay. This is like a cloud. And we don't even have the regular training camp yet. But this is getting more serious. When you're trying to teach this kid, this Jordan Love, the new playbook, do you want to be asked about this every day? Do you want the players to be looking at Sports Center every day, Get Up Show every day, online podcasters like me every day? Well, Rodgers was seen in so-and-so California practicing with so-and-so today. Meanwhile, Jordan Love was 2 for 5, and he hurt his thumb on the helmet during a half. I mean, you'll see that every day. So that distraction would be there. That'd be like being constipated. Either take a dump or get off the pot, right, Pickles? And that's what I would do. I would go ahead and take that dump and get those draft picks. And if you mess up, the college game is putting you out many more quarterbacks. You'll live. And quite frankly, a few years will go by. The city will they'll forgive the guy. They forgave Favre. And, they forgave Favre. Big standing ovation when Favre. I mean, Rodgers is a Hall of Famer. He's great to watch. I love Rodgers. He's fun to watch. But at some point, you got to look and say, man, just pull this thing Band-Aid off, and let's just move this bad boy on. Okay, so there are other holdouts, Pickles. There are other holdouts. Stephon Gilmore is holding out. He is the cornerback, 30-year-old cornerback, wanting a new contract with the Patriots. You know how that's probably going to work. They're not going to. Now, he's been rumored to be to be traded. He's been rumored to be traded since before last year's deadline. And I'll say this, that a team like Tennessee, they've got a lot of connections with the Patriots. That could be something to work out. There'll be some more moving around money. Do you want to put a Caleb Farley, a rookie, on the team that you've got big aspirations for? Okay. So we'll play a little game. Okay. We've got Stephon Gilmore. He's holding out. Xavier Howard, cornerback, just signed a contract, Pickles, in 2019. He's holding out for a better contract to become the highest paid cornerback. And last but not least, Jamal Adams, even though air quote now it's considered excuse absence from everything I read, it's also going to be a holdout until he gets another extension. So I'm going to say, let's play this game. Buy, sell, or hold. Buy means extend. Sell means trade or cut. They're not going to try to cut any of these guys. You're going to trade them, not cut them. Hold means you just hold what you got and you find them until they come back to work, okay? Let's go with buy. All right. So Jamal Adams, for those of you who don't remember, I don't know if you're on here, Carlos. Jamal Adams was traded for 2 first-round picks. I mean, this guy, this is the trade last year. The Seahawks reportedly agreed to send 2021 first-round pick. They've already did that. A 2021 third-round pick and a 2022 first-round pick. And now Jamal Adams with Seattle wants to be the highest paid. He wants to, air quote, break the bank. He wants to be paid the highest paid safety in the game. Now, I've looked at these salaries here, and they're up there. I mean, they are really up there. And he's rated according to Pro Football Focus about 10th. He's behind Mika Fitzpatrick of Pittsburgh, Marcus Williams of New Orleans, Marcus May of the Jets, Adrian Amos of the Packers, Jesse Bates of Cincinnati, and of course, Justin Simmons of the Denver, Budda Baker, and Eddie Jackson. Even Kevin Byard Pickles, he's behind. But he wants more money. He wants more money than Justin Simmons of the Broncos. He's the highest paid safety in the game at $15.25. But if I am Pete Carroll, I think the guy's name's Schneider, something Schneider, the general manager of the Seattle Seahawks, you've got your arm all the way in the lion's mouth when you traded 2 first. I didn't know they traded that. I had to double check that today, Pickles. 2 first-round picks and a third-round pick. You can't let him walk now. He's got you bent over a barrel. So what are you going to do now? Well, you got to come up with something. I would probably, it would be between 14 and 15 million. I'm not going to give this guy 17 to 20. We'll try to work out more guaranteed money. He can help you get the run. But if you let him walk and you've lost that much more, and this team falls off again or falls short again in the most competitive division in football, Carroll's going to get fired. The general manager may get fired. Russell Wilson may want to get out of town again. So they're over a barrel. So I would go ahead and try to find some way to pay this guy. Now, going back to Stephon Gilmore, he's 30 years old. Tennessee could use a guy like that. Dallas could use a guy like that. Again, Tennessee has Caleb Farley as their starter at quarterback. And I'm thinking to myself, you spend this draft capital and you put you pay this guy $15 million to bring this wide receiver in Julio in, right? And you still want to lean on a Caleb Farley. Maybe Tennessee should go after this guy. Gilmore has been rumored. Now, I wouldn't be offering no second-round pick for him. I would offer him a 4 conditional 3 and maybe work out some way to extend him, work out some more salary cap adjustments. You put a Gilmore on that side rather than a young Caleb Farley, and Tennessee is that much closer to a Super Bowl run. I've already got Tennessee as a team that's going to win the AFC South. Their biggest competition is going to be the Colts. I get it. The Colts can use another corner. The Colts are getting beat. The Jets, but I don't think they'll do something. I mean, the Patriots don't respect the Jets. The Jets can afford it, but if I'm the Jets, I wouldn't do that. So I would try to trade this guy before camp. I don't think he's going to make that big a difference in a Bill Belichick system there. I think they're going to be okay. They're going to have good pass rush. They're going to be well coached. They can use some more players. But Xavier Howard is not even – hold on, everybody. Let me change out my – let's see. Oops. Xavier Howard is he is 2 years. He signed a 5-year deal in 2019. He's 6 now. He wants to be the highest paid cornerback in the league. Pro Football Focus, and I agree with this. They've got the cornerback there, Jay Alexander, rated ahead of him. I agree with that. And they've got Jalen Ramsey rated ahead of him. I agree with that. I think Ramsey's the best. So I like Xavier Howard. He's a really good player. I would tell him, get back in camp, or we want to fine you every day. We will take your bonus, just like they did Rodgers. Except this guy's like 26 years old, 27 years old. I don't think he's going to do it. So I would hold him. I would hold him accountable. I would hold this guy accountable and fine him and wait the long game out. And if he goes in there and gets hurt, he just goes in there and gets hurt. He's not going to get any more money. Maybe we can throw him a little bit of a bone, but I doubt it. You're 6th in the league, man. It's not like that you are on a rookie contract and you're making $500,000 a year and you're at an all-pro level. That is not the situation there. So could you find a sucker to take it, Xavier Howard, for a first or second round pick? Possibly. Maybe a 49ers. The 49ers would be a good place for a Gilmore. They could possibly use another cornerback. But I just wouldn't do it. I'd find him and I'd tell him, get his butt back to practice, man. And we'll start taking game checks. We'll do anything you want to do. Not let somebody offer me 2 first-round picks for him, because he's in his prime. So this guy's in his prime, and if it's cornerback safety, I'm taking the corner all day long and twice on Sunday. So buy, sell, and hold. All right. Okay. Another big signing. Nobody talked about this, but Cleveland Browns have been the biggest talk of the offseason. Rightfully so. The Cleveland Browns, they made the most free agency pulls. Jadeveon Clowney looks like the best shape he's been into. I've been watching some of their mini camps. Best shape he's been in years. They're getting all the ink, and rightfully so. They've got a safety, John Johnson. They got a cornerback, both from the Rams. Upgraded their secondary. They're going to get Reedy Williams back. They're going to get Denzel Ward. They are a potential Super Bowl pick. But there's another team. Plus, we had all these quarterback movements with Stafford guys getting moved over from Detroit to L.A., and then L.A. sending Detroit their quarterback. And, of course, we got Deshaun Watson, Aaron Rodgers. But quietly, the Minnesota Vikings have had a really good offseason, Pickles. This Minnesota Vikings team today have Sheldon Richards said, I'm not coming back to Cleveland. I gave you some time. I just want a new start. So the Vikings are bringing back Sheldon Richardson. And a really good, he's 30 years old. Guy is a motor guy. Very underrated player. And I'll tell you, he was let go because of a salary cap issue. But the Sheldon Richardson is an excellent player, folks. I mean, I'm telling you, he's going to be a really good player. Now, I'm looking at their depth chart here, and these guys, they've improved big time. They've got Patrick Peterson on their team, and they've also got Breland. They picked him up. Used to be of the Kansas City Chiefs. He's not even listed as a starter on this team. They've also picked up a player, a defensive player, out of they got Anthony Barr back. Michael Pierce came over from Baltimore. They picked up a guy named Dalvin Tomlinson, defensive tackle out of the New York Giants. So you got Peterson, you got Breland, you've got Michael. I mean, these guys, and a lot of these guys were hurt last year, folks. Anthony Barr, I want to say Harrison, the other safety, was hurt. All these guys are going to be back. And I just told you, I don't know if Rodgers is going to come back. I think that they're going to be in Green Bay playing with this Jordan Love guy who's really not ready. Or maybe a Blake Bortles. They're going to play with a subpar quarterback, and you're going to find out how good they really are. Well, Minnesota, with that running game, now they've also got, I know Gary Kubiak retired, but his son Clint Kubiak, they're going to keep that zone running blocking scheme in there. They let Cal Rudolph go because Irv Smith was showing promise down the stretch. Young tight end out of Alabama showed some promise. So, and of course, you've got Thielen and Justin Jefferson with that zone block. Their defense is going to be revamped like nobody's business. Mike Zimmer's coming into the season on a hot seat. But I tell you what, they're going to play really well. Now, Kirk is not going to take them to the promised land, Brian. I don't think so. But Kirk has won playoff games. They went down and beat a good defensive team that year in New Orleans. But he's got more offense, and I think their defense will be the best. I'll say this. It'll be the best it's been since the year they went to the NFC Championship game. With these veteran players want to play for Mike Zimmer. These defense. So I feel like they're going to have one of the better offensives they had in several years. I feel like their defense is going to be as good as their NFC Championship defense coming back. And I feel like that they're probably, even if Rodgers comes back, I think they're going to be a wild card team. So that's going to knock out somebody. Who is that going to knock out? The Giants look good down the stretch. Much improved down the stretch. Went up and beat Seattle, a playoff team in Seattle. This could knock a team like the Giants out. I think that's probably going to be a two-man race in the NFC East between Washington and of course, Dallas. So then you go on the other coast, guys, which I got another story I'm going to talk about. Nobody else is saying either about Kyler Murray. But that's the most competitive division in football, folks. You look at J.J. Watt and, of course, Jones, the other guy, the other tackle there, Chandler Jones. That team, great center they brought over. They're going to be much improved. The 49ers have a strong Super Bowl contending-like team. The Rams are going to be much better offensively early. And, of course, Seattle really improved on their offensive line. I like the tight end they brought in. So you may get 2 wild cards out of the West. We're going to have 3 wild cards now. I know it's hard to get used to. And then that other one, my guess is going to be Minnesota. And, of course, I mean, you got New Orleans, still got a core there. I don't know. Carolina's going to be better. Tampa's likely going to win the South. But I think this Minnesota team may very well knock out that other wild card, whether it be the Giants or the Saints. I'm not sure if everybody's going to make it in the West. It could happen, guys. I don't think it'll happen. I don't think it's ever happened before where you've had two. But the NFC East has improved. The Giants have had a good offseason, just not in love with Daniel Jones. And like you said, with Kirk Cousins there. But Kirk Cousins don't have to do much. And I do like Zimmer as a coach. And I look at that defense, and I look at all those veterans, guys. I could see Minnesota getting back into the playoffs and making a run. I tried to get a hold of a friend of mine from Minneapolis area to come on the program. He had got back to me. I haven't seen the guy in years. So in other news, Kyler Murray says, casually, Pickles, that I just may go play baseball. I'm not shutting that door. And people's poo-pooed that. I'm not one of those people. That's why I'm the best. You know why he said that? It's because Cliff Kingsbury is on the hot seat this year. That's why. Because of what I just said. They got a brand new center. They've upgraded their offensive line. They brought in A.J. Green. But, of course, they've already got DeAndre Hopkins at wide receiver. They're going to have to figure out how to run the football. They got J.J. Watt on defense. If they don't make the playoffs, this is year 3. If Arizona don't make the playoffs, they should. They have a shot. I think Minnesota, it may come down to one game between Minnesota. But if they don't, I think Kingsbury will get canned. And so what would that lead to? Well, we all know that Kyler Murray is an undersized player, has to play a certain type of scheme because of his height. Some say he's 5'9", some say he's 5'10". Depends on how big his cleats are, right? He's thinking if they bring in a traditional defensive coach and I don't like what I'm seeing, I'll go play baseball. I think that's what he was saying today. I seriously think that. I think he's saying, I've already got my guaranteed money. I was the number 1 pick overall. They brought specifically this guy in here, used that type of Texas Tech offense. Usually teams go the opposite direction after they make a firing. If they bring in more pro-style coach, and this pro-style guy is old school and stubborn and wanting to put this guy, Kyler Murray, in a pro-style system and keep him under center, I think he's going to say, I'm going to go play baseball. So that's a big story. Nobody's talking about it, but I see the angles. I see past that stuff. He's like, I'm not ruling out. He was the number 8 pick overall to the Oakland Athletics, Pickles. And Pickles says something about Tampa. Tampa will play great early. I can see them, and I haven't broke down the schedule yet. I'm not going to do that till as much in the regular training camp as I get because I want to make sure that I got all the injuries intact, and it's actually going to be the team out there. I think they'll play pretty well this year, but I do think Brady they will fall down as the season goes along. I think you can let them both walk and call it a day. Murray hasn't earned the option of the deciding coach. That's true. I mean, that Murray showed a lot of promise in certain throws. I mean, I saw that throw live where they beat Buffalo last play of the game. But I've also saw the guy run into players, and I've also seen him look reckless. And I've also seen Cliff Kingsbury wanting to run that ball out of the shotgun with the running back with zero momentum and wondering why they cannot get any kind of momentum in a running game. And Murray is taking the ball and doing the RPO run option, and he's getting blasted, especially in that Seattle game. You know, he's getting blasted. So if it's me, and if I'm his assistant coach, I said, listen, Cliff, we've got to set up a traditional running game. We're going to get this kid killed out here. You know, you've got to set up some kind of option play, but he's going to have to get in the center, or you're going to have to line these running backs up a little bit. Watch how Tennessee does it. Derrick Henry is about 2 yards off the line of scrimmage. Then the actual run, he's a little bit farther back than most running backs are. Man, he gets a head start. Well, what Murray does is the guy's just sitting there. He just puts the ball in his stomach, say, "Hey, go run, man. Go run with it." Well, you can't get any momentum like that. And that's why they've had problems running the football. And I think they got rid of their starting running back, or he signed elsewhere anyway. So I think you just need to do if it's up to me, guys, if it's up to me, I'm not enamored with Murray. A bunch of people are. Yeah, I don't. He don't. People want to argue with me about his height. He's not as tall as Wilson. He don't have the pocket presence of Wilson. He's overaccomplished more than I ever thought that he would. And he may clean up on some money here in another year and say, you know what? I'm 27 years old, 28. I go play another 12 years in Major League Baseball, and I won't get half the surgeries. So he might very well do that. I know he won Rookie of the Year, guys, but let me give you a little fact. Vince Young won Rookie of the Year. Vince Young was out of the league a few years later. So it can happen. Cliff Kingsbury can get fired, and I think he could get this old school coach, and I think he can walk away and say, I got my money. And plus, he would be 4 years into that contract anyway, so he wouldn't have to give back a lot of that bonus if he walked away of that year. So thanks, guys. I appreciate it, Pickles. I'm going to try to bring on, I've got a potential Major League Baseball prospect going to come on the program in a few weeks. He's committed, signed a letter of intent, University of Tennessee, which they're in the college. I think they're going to the World Series, the Omaha World Series. Kavarius Tears, Major League Baseball prospect, here in the next few weeks. I'm a good friends with his mother, Alicia Tears, just like Tears of the Clown, the song. I'm going to try to bring him in here. And we're going to get some interviews in. So anyways, guys, I think that is it. I don't know what's going on in this game. I think even if they lose, if Harden plays and continues to play like I see him playing as far as moving around, they still got a shot to win this series. They, meaning the Brooklyn Nets. You guys go back and listen to the rest of the program. That's my take. It's a good year, even though it's a bad year with the injuries. You get a lot of teams that haven't won a championship since the ABA-NBA merger, Pickles. You know what, Pickles? The ABA merger was August 5th, 1976. Only playoff team that has won the finals since 76 was Philadelphia in 1983. So this is good for Phoenix. We talked about the basketball gods lining up for possibly Chris Paul. The Clippers, one of the worst owners in the history, organizations with the Donald Sterling and all that noise. The Hawks, they did win prior to the merger with the like Minnesota Hawks or something like that. Prior to the merger, the Nets were a dumpster fire for years. We could go on and on and on. So somebody's going to win. Anyways, guys, if you like the show, share the show. I will be back on Thursday around 9 p.m. Central Time. I hate to interfere with the playoffs. I'm involved in them too. I like the playoffs, but I try to do it around halftime. But, you know, I'm just going to do the show. It's mainly for the playback anyways. You like it, share it. I really appreciate that. You want to contribute to the program, you can go to the Zelle app, sports, the word sports, or SKOPE @gmail.com. And if please Share my show on Instagram. I'll see somebody watching. I think that may be Lindsay, but I'm not sure. But either way, I appreciate everybody watching the show on the Instagram. Sunday, I'll be on the Mac and Jack This Week in Sports show. You can find that one on the Northeast Streaming Sports YouTube channel there, or you can find it on the Mac Sports on Facebook. Sometimes they bring in Jim Jeffcoat, former Dallas Cowboy, who won the Super Bowl. So either way, have a good one, everybody. Oh, thank you, Kathy. I appreciate it. I will see you otherwise Thursday at 9 p.m. Central Time here on Sports Scope.